I welcome you to Bible Times. I'm Willard Pless, and we're here to study and learn what the Bible is talking about that's going on today, time that we're living in, where we are in Bible time, and bringing the Bible to reality to understand what's taking place in this world. And today I want to talk about January the 6th, Jerusalem's flood that the Bible gives us. We learn as we study the Bible that on January the 6th, as we come to 2026, that Jerusalem's going to be flooded like they flooded Capitol Hill on January the 6th in 2021. This time it's going to be Jerusalem's going to be flooded. Now you might say, where do you get that at? Where do you understand that at? Well, you go to the book of Daniel, chapter 9, verse 26. Daniel is given the time that the end time man, which we know now is President Trump, that when Israel shuts him down, and they're going to shut him down after November the 22nd. And how we get this date is that it's the anniversary of when President Kennedy was assassinated. And that's 62 years that he would be cut off. And that's what Daniel's given there in his book in chapter 9, verse 26. That he'll be cut off in November after the 22nd. And then they will flood Jerusalem. People that like they did when they flooded Capitol Hill when he was taken down. But this time it's going to be Jerusalem that's going to be flooded. And see, when this happens, we know that we're mighty close to Jesus' return, because that he's going to come, and when this gets done, he's going to come to this world. He's going to come to Israel, and he's going to take that thing down. And we learn that as you read on here in verse 27, that it talks about that this would bring about the abomination of desolation that Jesus talked about in Matthew 24. And it talks about the confirmation that the abomination desolation would continue to the confirmation. Now you might say, well, what is that? The marriage supper of the Lamb took place in heaven. And then Jesus comes as a warrior, like Benjamin, and he comes riding the white horse and the army with him, and he enters Jerusalem from the eastern gate. And this is the confirmation of the marriage or the wedding that's took place in heaven. See, after the marriage supper of the Lamb, then he comes to earth and he enters Jerusalem, because Jerusalem is the woman. Jerusalem is the bride of Jesus. And we learn that in Revelation chapter 21. So when he enters into Jerusalem, then that's the confirmation of the marriage supper of the Lamb. That's the conversation. Well, anyway, confirmation of the wedding that the Bible talks about. And then Jesus will take down the beast, which we know is President Trump, and take the false prophet and cast him into the fire. And then the ones that has flooded Jerusalem, he puts them in the winepress of God. And we've talked about all of this. And let me point out also here that in verse 25 here in Daniel 9, verse 25, talks about when he came the first time, when President Trump showed up the first time. That's when he'd be revealed. And see, Paul talked about that in 2 Timothy, I believe it is, in chapter 2, that he talks about when he would be revealed. And he was revealed back in 2017. So you look at what Daniel's talking about here, the weeks. See, this is the week of years. So on the 69th year that Israel's back in the land, as they've come and rebuilt the land and Jerusalem, that he would show up. And he showed up in 2017. That's when he first came. And he's the Messiah, the Prince, that's talked about here. And he would rule, but see, Daniel doesn't talk about his right there. He doesn't talk about him being taken down. But see, he's taken down like Nebuchadnezzar was. And then he was given his ability to return. And he returned here in 2025. And so all this is coming together now. We know that between now and that time, we know the financial system's going to collapse by October. That he's going to cause the financial thing to collapse, and that's going to cause a big hardship for Israel and Jerusalem, and they're going to turn against him, and they're going to cut him off. And then this is when the Jerusalem will be flooded by those that come, just like it happened with back in when it came, when he was taken down and Capitol Hill was flooded. So see, all this is coming about. The Bible gives what's going on in this world. And the only way that you and I can understand what's being given, we got to walk with Jesus. You got to lay the flesh away. You can't walk with Jesus and walk in the flesh at the same time. You got to walk with Jesus. You got to put the flesh away. And then he'll give you the Spirit, and you can begin to see and understand. And that's the only way. There's no other way to do it. You can go to all kinds of seminaries and colleges and attend all the churches in the world, and you're not going to really see the truth unless you lay the flesh away and walk with Jesus. And the Bible teaches that. One of the doctrines that has caused the church to fall is the doctrine of eternal security. That you come and make a profession, and then you're set. Doesn't matter what you do, you have a home in heaven. That you can't ever lose that. The Bible doesn't teach that. Jesus said, "Many are called, but few are chosen." And so what that means is that that people are called, but if they don't lay the flesh away, if they don't lay the flesh down, he's not going to give them the Spirit. And if you don't receive the Spirit, then you're only going to last a short time. Just like the man with a stony heart, or a person with a thorny heart. You receive, but you don't lay the flesh away. You don't put the flesh down. That's what, circumcision for Israel meant that cutting off foreskin and throwing the flesh away. And see, that's what Abraham had to do before Isaac could be born, which is a type of Jesus coming to Israel the first time when he was born as a baby and went to the cross. But this time he's going to come like Jacob or Benjamin. And see, you have a generation involved here too. It was a generation of 100 years, and we're talking about the generation of the kingdom of God. And that was with Abraham, see, when he come into the land, and there's 100 years there. And also with Jacob, when he came back and Benjamin was born. And see, this is the same thing here. That when we come to May the 14th here in 2025, see, that ended the 100-year generation. But see, that's been extended. It's been extended for the year. Just like when Abraham did the circumcision, then a year later that Isaac was born. And that's a type of Jesus coming the first time. And this time, see, Jacob, he come back into the land, and when he come back to enter into the land, a generation, and then a year, then Benjamin was born, and he became a warrior. And Jesus comes this time as a warrior. And he comes to take this thing down. We need to understand what the Bible is talking about. And these things are coming. When we come to November, see, between now and then, the plagues are going to continue that Revelation 15 and 16 tells us that when this thing got to going about the new Babylon, that God would be sending plagues. So we're seeing the plagues now with the storms and the volcanoes and tornadoes and fires and floods. And see, this is the plagues that God's sending, trying to wake people up. And we need to realize what's going on. And I hope you will, and get in here and study. If you walk away, then you'll only walk to darkness. But if you stay in here and learn, you can walk in the light. But if you walk away, you'll walk in darkness and not see and understand. And stay with us on these studies because we're going to be doing more. So God bless you, and you have a great day.